Good afternoon, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and today I am going to show you how to make a little box with a shaker element, a little shaker globe on the top of the box. And on the inside of the box, we're going to put some wrapped Hershey's nuggets. So it's going to look really fabulous, and it's going to make a great little holiday gift that you can give out. So I am going to turn over my camera and I am going to show you the box we're going to make and tell you all about it. All right, let me switch my camera here. All right, so you can see right here, I've got a lot of stuff on my desk. So let's start off with this cute little box. And you notice it's got a shaker dome on the top. You can kind of see on the side, it's got a little bit of height to it. And you can shake it, and it's got some glitter in it that acts as snow, and it's got this cute little deer with the snow in the background. I used some puff paint. I'm going to show you how to do all that. And then on the inside, we've got some Hershey's nuggets, and I've wrapped them in the paper from the same paper right here. It's called the Wrapped in Plaid paper. And I just wrapped some nuggets up in that paper just to make them a little festive. So this is just such a cute little gift that you can give out, and I'm sure anyone that sees that will think, wow, that's really cool. So I wanted to be able, there's a lot of elements to this little box. It's not hard, but there's a lot of elements to it. And I wanted to give everyone a chance. Sometimes when you're watching a video tutorial, you're taking it all in and it's great. And then you want to do the same project and it becomes difficult. So I have created a really cool project sheet that you can use to make your box. And all you need to do to get this project sheet is to subscribe to my email list. And I have a link to that down below. Just go down below and it will say subscribe to my email list to get this project sheet. And when you do that, this week, this project sheet is going to go out for my regular subscribers. So if you're already subscribed to my email list, you will get this in your inbox on Saturday. And if you subscribe today, you will also get it on Saturday, but if you subscribe after Saturday, you will still get it. You will have a link to download this project sheet, but this will be available on Saturday because I need to do a couple things to it. On the second page, I have a place to put the video tutorial link, and I'm filming the video tutorial right now live. So that will all be added, and then I will send that out to everyone on Saturday. I thought that would be a nice little thing for my subscribers to have. And it has the supply list, it has step-by-step instructions and some photos. So it will make it all nice and condensed if you want to create this on your own. And then you'll still have the video tutorial if you want to refer back to anything that I am doing. All right, so let me set that aside, and I won't put it too far away because guess what? I probably should follow along my project sheet because it's got a couple of steps that I shouldn't do out of order. Now, the bundle we're using is called the Still Scenes Bundle. It comes with the Still Scenes stamp set, and let me get the name right. This is the Snow Globe Scenes dies. So you get all of that together. If you buy them together, you get 10% off. And you're also going to need some of these Snow Globe shaker domes. And that's what I'm going to be using to create this element. There's some other supplies you'll need, and you can find those all on my blog. If you click through over to my blog, there's a clickable supply list down at the bottom. So if you want to get the products to make this project, just go there and you can buy them in my Stampin' Up store. All right, let me put this aside and let's get started on our project. We're going to start off by making this dome element at the top. So you're going to need a piece of the Wrapped in Plaid paper, and you're going to cut it to 3 inches by 4 inches. Then, oh shoot, I put my big shot across the room again. I've been dragging it. Let me grab it. I had it here and then I ran it back over there to cut something, and now it's back over there. Okay, so you're going to need this little piece of paper, and you can choose whatever paper you want. Notice I've got a different paper in the background here. I thought we'd try a different one just to see how it looks. And you're going to put it on your big shot, and you're going to take this die. This is the same shape as the dome, And you're going to put it about 1/4 of an inch from the top, and you're going to center it from side to side. Okay, so notice this is the long side. You're going to put it so this way, oriented this way, okay? And this is about 1/4 inch. If you don't know what 1/4 inch is, check your ruler. Just go ahead and measure it and put yourself a little mark down there, and you should be all good. So I will fix that there. I'm just going to read my comments real quick just to make sure I'm not missing out any questions. Okay, good. We're good. If you have any questions while I'm doing this, just please give me a shout out and I will try and peek over every once in a while and get those. Okay, so we're going to run this through the Big Shot. I hope I didn't shift here. Let me stand up and make sure I didn't shift. The other thing you want to make sure before you run it through, make sure this base is parallel to this side or to this side so that you don't have your shaker dome kind of being skewed. So make sure that is straight. And then you can run it through. And this little scrap piece you can use for something else, but this is the piece we need. I'll set this aside right now. And then you're going to take a piece of Whisper White, and I've cut this to approximately 3 by 4. Actually, I just went just a little bit under 3 by 4. That way it gives me a little bit of room to shift this around if I need to. Once I have this on the back, it just gives me a little chance not to have to cut off any white in the background, which you could always still do. You could always do. So I'm just going to kind of orient this so it's centered on the back. I'm going to flip it over and take a pencil, very lightly, just draw myself a little space, because now this is the space where I know that I can see through the dome. So that's going to kind of be my guideline. Then earlier I cut some die cuts. I'm just going to make sure that I'm doing everything I said I was going to do on my project sheet, because you know, it's really hard sometimes, like you skip ahead because you think you know what you're doing and then you don't do the right things. So I cut 2 of these tree clusters out with shaded spruce cardstock. And what I'm going to keep one as is, and then I'm going to cut a couple of these trees just down by the base. I'm just going to cut them right off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them around so they were like this, and I'm going to, well, maybe I won't even flip them. I'm going to put them like this. I'm going to keep them the same way, and I want to glue them on top because I want more of a foresty look. So first we're going to glue this right in here. Oh, and I should just mention, I have one more project with the Still Scenes bundle, and that will be tomorrow. So make sure you come back for that. I'm doing an ornament tomorrow. Let me scoot this down just a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to come in with this. And just glue this on top. Now I could have, and what some of you have been doing, you could have actually popped these little guys up on dimensionals, but I'm going to pop up my deer on dimensionals. So I kind of just want this flat on the background, so I didn't actually add any additional height to these. So they're glued flat. Now I'm going to take some of this puff paint, and this puff paint is fun to work with, but it is a little crazy. Like, you don't know exactly the results you're going to get until you heat set it. You need a heat tool and this together. So what I'm going to do, my little deer friend right here, I cut him earlier out of soft suede. I'm going to cut him away from the base. So I'm just kind of cutting off the deer legs so that he doesn't have a base anymore. He is free. He can now run. So he's going to come in here. I'm going to put puff paint under here, but I don't need to put so much puff paint under where his head's going to be. So I'm just going to kind of keep that in mind when I'm adding the puff paint. You want to shake this a little bit. And then I'm just going to add some little bits of puff paint. Now, A little goes a long way. Like, so if you are putting puff paint on, just know that it's going to puff up more than you think. So, and then I'm going to put puff paint down here because this is going to be all kind of snowy ground down here. So, I'm going to add a little, ooh, that's a big blob. Okay. Yep. Okay. I am going a little crazy, but that's okay. Let me see if I can add a little bit of a light. It is a little dark. I'm working now with Ecamm Live, and this camera gets really dark. One of these days, I'm going to fix it and get a new camera. Okay, this is going to be a little loud. Sorry about that. I'm heating this up. If you don't want to kill your fingers while you're doing this, you could maybe use a tweezer. This is a locking tweezer. Okay, so I might have to scrape some of that foam paint off if I don't like where it went, but I'm going to heat this up and see what's going to happen. Yeah, I got a little bit onto the white, which I didn't want, but oh well. This is just kind of, it's kind of fun. You just kind of have to play with it a little bit and see how it goes. Okay, it kind of looks crazy right now, but trust me, it will look better later on. Okay. So let me see if I can, I'm going to scrape a little bit of it off right here that I didn't want to get right there. Okay. Maybe it would have been better if I had grabbed a tissue and got rid of it beforehand. That might have been better, but that's okay. We're just going to move along. I'm also going to fill in a little bit more of the snowy bottom here. I'm trying to cover up some of the green. And maybe a little bit right here, a little bit here. It's going to look a lot better once the deer gets on there. Okay, let's take a little bit of that off. Okay. Just know that after doing this, yours is probably going to look better. So that's something to aspire to. It is looking puffy and snowy. So when I did this on my original card, whoa. When I did this on my original card, I had to do it 3 times before I got things where I wanted them to be. So I'm still leaving a little blank spot for that place. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm good after I hit that little place right there. You know, I grew up in British Columbia, and truly, sometimes the trees, like, they were just covered in clumps of snow. It wasn't beautiful and perfect, so it doesn't have to be this way either. Let's have a look and see how this will look with my little, oh yeah. It looks so much better once you get the deer on here. So before I do anything else, move this out of the way so it's no longer in our way. And I'm going to take my eraser and just gently erase that line around here. I could have done that before I did my puff paint, but I just kind of want to make sure that that's gone, just in case that peeks out. I don't want to see that in my bubble. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little deer friend, flip him over and add a couple of mini dimensionals right here. Okay, and I also want to take, where are my scissors? I want to take, I know this is a mini dimensional. I'm cutting a mini dimensional in half. I'm going to put a mini dimensional on his neck just to support it, okay? And I'm going to throw away that other mini dimensional because I will never be able to find it later on. And then we'll get rid of these little backings. So the deer will be popped up a little bit. Okay, and so we'll stick him right down here. Oh, I lost the dimension off his neck. Stuck to my finger. Okay, there we go. So we have the little prancing deer. Now, yesterday I did a tutorial with the snow globe box, and I do it a little differently. Maybe some other people do it this way too, but I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. I just noticed I have a little bit of that paint right there and I don't want to stick anything in it. Okay, so I'm going to take a little teaspoon and I'm actually gonna put my glitter onto here. First, let me prep my little base. So I'll need one of these domes, and I'm going to remove the adhesive off the top layer. Okay, so that's going. And then, let me stand up. I'm always putting my head in the camera. I'm like, I should not do that. And I'm going to add this on here while standing up. Add the bubble on here. Okay, so I've got this on here. Now, if this sticks out at all on the side, now is your opportunity to snip it right off. You see this little bubble right here, it's sticking out. I tried to center it, but if it sticks out, just go ahead and lop off the excess. I'm going to do that for the other side too. It's just a little bit that's sticking out. All right. And then we're going to add the glitter because there's different things you can add in here, but I just like the glitter so much. So I'm just going to stick with glitter. And about 1/3 of a teaspoon. I wouldn't put more than that because if you put more, it's just too much. And so about 1/3 of a teaspoon works well for the glitter. If you get any on the outside edge, just kind of bring it in together and you just dump it onto here. I rather do it dumped onto here than into here and then flip it around. I find it easier if you dump it on there. It looks like a really big mistake, but it will be absolutely fine. Remove the liner off of here. And now I'm gonna stand up, move this a little bit over here. I hope I'm not going off the camera. Okay, and then I'm just going to line this up and bring this down and then seal it with my fingers. Okay, and now you can look on the back, and if you see that your white is showing, you can go ahead and snip that off. But because I cut this a little bit smaller than my piece, it looks fine. You can, if you want to, just add a little bit of Tombow right here. Come on, there we go. Just to help seal this part down. This should be pretty good up at the top because we've got adhesive all the way around here like that. So there is your little shaker element. And you saw how crazy my snow was. It didn't look really that great, but once you stick the deer on there, it doesn't matter how badly you've added that puff paint. I'm definitely not an expert. You should be fine. All right, so a couple of things we still need to do. I want to add the base. And what I did earlier was I cut some gold glimmer paper with this piece and some gold foil sheet with this piece. Now we're going to put those two together. That just went through my die cutting machine. And I'm just going to add a little bit of Tombow to the back of here. And then I'll just add this to the front. It just looks like a very gold etched sort of dome when you do it this way. And I like it because it's simple. Like, it doesn't detract from the snow globe, but it looks all fancy because you've got the gold glimmer on the gold. And yeah, this is not a perfect science either with the Tombow, so I'm just kind of dabbing away the extra glue. All right, that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to add this to the bottom of here. I'm always sticking my head in things, so let me stand up. That looks really nice, doesn't it? With the gold coppery, actually it's copper lines in the background, but it works well. And then we'll just grab a little bit of this spruce ribbon. Spruce and gold ribbon, just tie a little knot. Grab my scissors. See which side I like better. That looks good. And then I'll just snip on an angle a little bit. Snip this side a little bit more. Okay. And then I can add that with a mini glue dot. Okay. I'm just reading someone's comment. When she's doing the heating, she uses a clothespin. That's a really handy thing to have as well. You know, the weird thing is we don't have as many clothespins anymore, do we? Like, that used to be a thing. That's how we used to hang things up to dry, but not as many of us have clothespins anymore. But yeah, just a clip, or I don't like to emboss directly on here because it's kind of vinyl and plasticky, and I just worry that it's going to damage it, so that's why I hold it up. But if you have a wood surface, you could also just pin it down with like a stylus tool or something. Okay, so that is the topper, and you're done with that. This would also look cute on the top of a card too, so you could add that to a card if you wanted to. Let's do the box now. So I'm going to take my Simply Scored board. We'll do the bottom of the box first, and you're going to need a piece of thick Whisper White for that. And this piece is cut to 5 1/16. Yes, 5 1/16 by 6 1/16. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, it looked like it was wrong for a moment. So if you're worried about 1/16 of an inch, it's not a big deal. Just go a little bit beyond 5 inches. So if you have a cutter, there should be a line right before you get to the 1/8 inch mark, in between 1/8 and the 5 inch mark. So that's the little mark. So just go up just a little bit. So 5 1/16 by 6 1/16. And then the next one will actually be on an 1/8 inch mark, so it won't be crazy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to score at the 1 inch mark on all 4 sides. So I've got my little marker at the 1 inch mark. So just go ahead and do the 1 inch mark on all 4 sides. Easy peasy. Set it aside. Now we'll take a Night of Navy piece. This is going to be the lid, and this one is 5 1/8 inches by 6 1/8. So just 1/16 more. So we'll do 5 1/8 by 6 1/8. And then we'll score this one also on the inch mark on all 4 sides. And yeah, it actually does work. Okay. Set this aside for a moment. Let's do the base first. You're going to need some scissors, And let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so on both of the short sides, you're going to cut up along the score line just till you hit that first score intersection. So do that 4 times on both short sides. This is a very easy box, but it looks really pretty. Okay, so you've got it folded inward on all 4 sides. Take some Tombow, and I'm just going to put Tombow. I'm going to do this all at once. You might not want to do this all at once because you might get glue on your fingers, and then you might not be very happy with me. But I'm going to try and do it without getting glue on my fingers. So I'll bring this side in and hold it. This side in and hold it. And then these two to fold down in and glue that one and glue that one. So I'm just going to hold these for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the main thing when you're bringing them in is you want to make sure that they line up nicely with the score line. So you don't want them bent out or in. You just want them nicely along the score line. So you have nice, clean corners. Okay, so that's the base of the box. We'll set that aside. Now we'll work on the top of the box. Now this one has some thumb grips in it because this is a tight box. If you saw my cookie box that I did a few weeks ago, it was also a very tight box. It's nice to have a tight box, but it's also a little harder to open, which is a good thing because you don't want your things to fall out. You don't want your lid to be picked up and have the box drop and have everything go everywhere, but you need some thumb grips. So you'll take your 1-inch punch, and on the long side, you're just going to put some thumb grips in here. And you just make a thumb grip by putting the punch halfway. Okay, so you just kind of eyeball it. That looks somewhat centered, and then you punch. And then do the same thing for the other side. Look to make sure it's centered, halfway up, and punch. Okay, so now we've got our thumb grips in there. Now we can go ahead and do the same thing that we did for the box. The bottom of the box is we're gonna go on the short side and we're going to cut up to that first score intersection, right along the score line. So we're cutting 4 times. It's number 3. And here is number 4. Okay. And so, come along here. And turn this over, and I'm going to do the same thing. Let me just make sure I did everything I was supposed to do. Yeah. If I don't follow my instructions, sometimes I can get, I don't know, I do the wrong thing. I skip ahead. So it's nice for me to have this project sheet here too. I'm just following along my project sheet. It's nice and easy. Okay, so now I'm going to come in, glue this. And that way you have a nice little record of the tutorial. If you like to print them out, it's just 2 pages long. I really wanted it to be 1 page, but then the font would have gotten really small. I tried to use all the available space, and so it ended up being 2 pages. In the future, I'll try and get them down to 1 page, but we will see. This time it had to be 2 pages. But if you want to print it off and keep it in a binder or something, then it's not super long. It's a nice handy reference that you can refer to the box. Okay, so there are my 2 pieces. Let me go ahead while I'm here and grab my topper to add here. So my lid is just a little bit bigger than my topper. So a little bit of the Native Navy peeks out on the side, which I really love. And then put some Tombow on here. And let me add this to the front of the box. Don't want it to be crooked. Don't be crooked. Okay. There, that looks so nice. Okay, I'm gonna not close up my box yet because I want to add something to it. So let me set this aside for a moment. Now we're going to the second page of the project sheet. I want to create a little nugget divider for my nuggets that go on the inside. So I'm gonna get rid of my little marker. And you're gonna need a piece of cardstock. I'm using shaded spruce here. This piece is 3 3/4 by 4 inches. And on the short side, and where is my tool? It's right here. On the short side, you're going to make 3 score marks. You're going to do the 1 3/8 inch mark, the 1 7/8 inch mark, and the 2 3/8 inch mark. All right. And then you're going to fold this. We're going to create a mountain fold. So let me show you what it looks like. There's a little mountain in the center. So that's going to keep the nuggets divided in there. So if you want to, you can glue this down into here. The mountain is meant to kind of go on, not be like this flat. It's kind of meant to have a little bit of a, it's meant to be a little bit of a mountain to kind of keep those nuggets apart. If it was like this, then there would be more playroom for the nuggets. So when you're gluing this down, if you are gluing this down, just keep in mind you're going to want to make sure that it's not towards one side. You actually want it to spread over the entire bottom. I'm just going to keep it like that for now. I don't necessarily know if I'll use this box later on for nuggets or for something else. So that gives me the option to use it for something else. But if you're going to make the nuggets, this is the next step. You need 8 Hershey's nuggets to fit in here. And the cool thing about this paper, I cut it 3 inches by 4 inches. It's 6 by 6 paper. So down here at the bottom, once you cut the 3 inches, you're going to have a 2 by 3 inch piece down here. So you can get 2 of these nugget wrapper pieces out of this little piece right here. So that's kind of nice that you have that option to kind of use up the paper really well. And I don't know what side I want. I think I'm going to do this side the same as the front. So I'm just going to use some snail on one end. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap this around. Now the adhesive end is going to be wrapped last. So I'm going to just wrap this around. Make sure you have a little bit to come to the bottom. And then I'm really tight about my wrapping, and I kind of just bend it around the edges. And then I just kind of smooth it down. I burnish it a little bit. Snail is not necessarily the best adhesive to hold this down. I don't really want to use Tombow on the paper right here. An alternative would be to use the Terran tape, but see how you do for your climate. If you're in a really humid place, or maybe sometimes if you're in a really dry place, it won't stick quite as well. So just keep that in mind when you're wrapping them. But doesn't that look pretty? And then I have the rest of the box over here. I'm not going to wrap 8 nuggets, but it looks really pretty if you have your nuggets like this in a row, and then you have your little lid. And let me close this up. See, it works. That's always a challenge at the end. Did my project work? Did my box close? And then you've got your little thumb grips, right? And you can open it up, and it works really, really well. So don't forget, if you would like this project sheet, subscribe to my email list. The link is down below. If you want to find out the supplies, a clickable supply list for my project, just go to my blog and you'll have that resource there too. I did actually put on my blog the measurements, the main measurements for the pieces I use, but I didn't go in depth. I like the project sheet idea because if I put everything on my blog like this, it would be really super long and you wouldn't want to read it on my blog. But now you have it in PDF form, and then you're going to be able to follow along nicely on the PDF rather than having to watch the video again or having to grab that information from my blog, which can be kind of crazy sometimes. All right, I am back. There I am. Okay, well, I hope you really liked this. I'm just going to go back and read some comments. Have you ever used the heavy white cardstock for the box bases? Yes, this is the thick Whisper white cardstock on the base. I definitely recommend using the thick Whisper white on the base. You could use the thin Whisper white, but you're holding nuggets, so it's not really the best base. I'm sorry if I didn't mention that during the video, but I did use the thick Whisper white for the base of the box, definitely. And Sonia said I did use that, but you know, sometimes when you're talking, you might say Whisper white again later, but yeah, it's definitely the thick Whisper white that you want to use. It holds up better. It looks so much nicer. So, all right, let me go back and see if I missed any comments while I was, and thank you so much for joining me live. It's always nice to do a video live because I get some feedback right away. Maybe I say something wrong. Like sometimes I think I'm saying eraser and I'm saying pen, or I say stamp set and I mean stamp pad, you know, and sometimes it's, you know what I mean, and sometimes you're like, what does she mean? So I can catch that right away and clarify it for you. So that's so awesome that you guys are here with me. Yeah, so I think this will make a great little gift. And, you know, if you want, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. And remember, if you want that project sheet, just sign up for my email list. Oh, wow. So many people from so many places. I should just mention there's someone here from Arizona, someone from Washington State. I'm in the Boston area and I have someone from Denmark and someone from Germany. That's just awesome. It's like a global YouTube live. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. And if you want to see my ornament, make sure to check back on my blog or YouTube channel tomorrow because I will be doing another live for that. Okay, guys, have a great day. Bye-bye.